Okay, everyone. Welcome to the next session on Introduction to MATLAB using MATLAB on RAM. Today we'll cover the project that we have started in the last video. The project is about the stellar motion, movement of stars by using the wavelengths and other data. Now, in order to do this project, first of all, I'll be using this command using this particular section to demonstrate how we can load the data. Right now, if you see the workspace, it is empty. When I run this section, what it will do, it will load the workspace with this star data variable mat file which contains the variables, and then we'll do all these calculations. Okay, so once we get the star data, we'll get some metrics there, and then we'll do all this NOBS, lambda start, lambda end, etc. Lambda start and lambda end are given to us as 630.02 and 0.14. NOBS is the size of the vector spectra. Okay, so let us run this section with the workspace open and see what happens when I run this section. Okay, so when I run this section, if I once again go to the workspace, you will find that these four values are loaded. So spectra is basically what is loaded by load star data, and NOBS is calculated by using this formula size of spectra comma 1. So size is a function which will give me the size of the spectra vector and the first value, that means the number of rows. So it is giving me 357. The start and end value, since we have initialized, these values are shown here. All right, moving on, let us move to the next task. So the task 1 is we have to calculate this. We have done in the last video. I am repeating for your understanding. So we have to calculate the lambda end that contains the value of the last wavelength by using the formula lambda end is equal to lambda start plus number of observations minus 1 into change in lambda. So it is starting at 630.02, it is incrementing by 0.14. So we have to find out that what will be the last wavelength. Okay, so the last wavelength can be easily calculated by using this formula lambda end is equal to lambda start plus number of observations minus 1 into lambda delta, and then I will create the spacings in lambda by 0.14 each, right? So these two lines do that. So I will run this section. Okay, when I run this section, I'll get the output for this section. Okay, so I got lambda which starts at 630.02 and it will continue till 679.86, but for every increment, the increment will be only by 0.14, right? The next task was, the task 2 was to extract the sixth column of the spectrum of star, which is of HD 94028. So it is very simple. All I need to do is write S equal to spectra colon comma 6. So this colon indicates all the rows, 6 indicates the sixth column. So I will simply run this. So what will happen? It will give me a vector, a single vector with sixth column values out of this spectra matrix. The next task was to plot the log-log graph. As we do the normal plot, we can also use something called as the log-log function, which gives us the plot between two values on a log scale. Why this is required? Because many a times we have the data in a long range. So let us say we have a data on x-axis starting from 0 to 10,000 and in the increment of 10 only. So we have so many data points. Okay, 1000 data points on x-axis, 1000 data points on y-axis. This cannot be accommodated on a single graph paper, simple graph paper, linear graph paper. So we can do it on the log paper. So for that, it is asking us to plot S versus lambda, okay, by using the, and give this wavelength and intensity as the headings to that, X and Y label, and it should it should use point markers and a solid line, right? So for that, I can use this command log lambda. Lambda will plot x-axis, comma S will plot on y-axis. In double quotes, I am writing dot and then dash. This dot and dash indicates this way it will be plotted. Also, I am required to give the X label and Y label. X label as wavelength, Y label as intensity. Okay, so this particular code will do that job for me. So let me run this section and check what is the output that we are getting. Okay, so we should get the graph as the output. Okay, yes, so we got this graph. You can see here, you can see this. So the graph is at the output. Okay, let us move on. The next task is to task 4. Task 4 is to create two variables sha and idx that contain the minimum value of s and the index where the minimum value occurred, right? So remember that minimum function returns two values. It returns two values. One value is the minimum value, another value is the position of the minimum value, right? So to capture those two values, we can use the square brackets and write the names of the variables. So I am capturing the minimum value in sha and I am capturing the index in idx. So this minimum s will return me two values, the sha value and its index. So sha is 9.890 and index is 191. This will be stored here. Then I am required to find out the lambda corresponding to this index. Okay, so if the sha minimum is occurring at 191 position, at that 191 position, what is the value of lambda? So this can be calculated by using this simple function, lambda ha is equal to lambda in bracket idx. Okay, so whatever idx I am getting here, that idx will be used here to get the value of lambda. Okay, you can run this section. It is already run on the right hand side. You can see once again I am running for your benefit. Okay, so you got this. Then moving on, uh, moving on, the next task is to plot task 5. The line lambda HA is the location of hydrogen alpha line. We have to add a point to the existing graph by plotting x equal to lambda HA, y is equal to SHA and a red square with a marker size of 8. So when I run this, see, we have to add a point to the existing graph. So to add a point to the existing graph, we have to use the hold on command first. We have to use the hold on command. So I have run that command first, and then what I need on x-axis, lambda HA. What I need on y-axis, SHA. So I am writing plot lambda HA comma SHA. What kind of plot I need? Red square. So I am writing in single quotes RS comma. What should be the marker size? 8. So I am writing marker size comma 8. When I do this, okay, and run this, you will get the graph on the right hand side, right? So you got a graph like this with a marker here. Okay, so I think this completes the task 5. Okay, so we got the marker at the correct position. Now the next task is task 6. So let us wait for this to run. So it is correct. Moving on to the next task. The next task is, if you zoom in on the plot, you can see that the wavelength of the hydrogen alpha line is 656.62 nanometer. So if we zoom in on this, that means if I click here, okay, and I use this marker, and if I do this much portion, so it will tell me this. See, this is 656 point something, right? So this is how we can zoom in and find out the exact value. So you can zoom as much as you want. So it is 656.6 62 nanometer, which is slightly longer than the laboratory value of 656.28. Now what we have to do, we have to calculate something called as the redshift factor and the speed at which the star is moving away from the earth. We have to assign the redshift factor to a variable called as z and the speed to a variable called as speed. So all we need to know is the formula. Okay, so for redshift factor, what is the formula? Okay, let us move on to the task 6. So okay, so if I write a redshift factor, code lines are not coming, so I'll have to add the code line here because code line is not showing. So I can go here in the editor and I can add the code. So so it is taking some time. Please bear with me for that. So I'll just click here and I'll click on this code. When I click on this code, I'll get the code lines here. Okay, so this way you can add the code line. What is required? Z equal to, what is Z? It is lambda HA divided by 656.28 minus 1. So all we need to do is use the variables that we have already calculated. So I'll write lambda HA. Okay, for division I'll use this forward slash 656.28, okay, minus 1. This is what I need to do. And next is assign the redshift to Z and the speed to a variable called as speed. How do I calculate the speed? By multiplying the redshift factor by the speed of light, right? So I'll write speed as speed equal to Z multiplied by how much? 299,792.458. From where I got this value? Here it is given in this description, right? So this will calculate these two values for me. I'll submit this, okay, and I should get the two values now. Okay, so I got the Z and speed. Both these answers are correct. Let's move on to the next task. The next task is, having created a live script for finding the redshift, you can easily modify the script to repeat the calculation on any star. So we have seen the 6th star. Now it is asking us to modify task 2 and 7 of the script so that it can perform the redshift calculation on the 2nd star, not 6th. So all I have to do is, instead of writing 6 here, I'll write 2 here. Okay, I'll run this section again. Okay, and in task 7, when I do this 2, then I have to run other all these 3 to 5 also I need to run this section, because this will change the wavelength now. Okay, so I'll do this, and now you see the wavelength has slightly changed. So again I'll have to zoom in on this. Okay, I'll have to zoom in on this and find out what is the wavelength. So earlier it was 656.62. Now how much it is, we'll have to find out. Okay, so how much it is? So it is 656.06. It is 656.06. So instead of this 656.28, I'll have to write 656.06. 656.06, and once again run this section. Okay, so I got the new values of Z and speed, right? So this way I can do the modifications in the program. If I use spectra colon comma 2 or colon comma 1, colon comma 2 will give me for 2nd star, 1 will give for 3rd star, right? Now the speed is not having the exact correct value, simply because we may not have gone to the 2nd or 3rd decimal. All right, that doesn't matter. Okay, so this is how the project on stellar motion is done. I urge you to try this project on your own, and I hope that you will be able to do this, right? And see, the explanation which I have given you was more of mathematical nature. As far as the problem is concerned, it is related to stars and all. So you can have your own problem statements. You can have your own engineering problem statements. But ultimately, the point was to prove how you can apply all the MATLAB principles, basic fundamentals, and do all these calculations, do the plotting, selecting the value from the plot, marking the correct value in the plot, etc. Okay, so that is more important, which I hope you might have got through this interaction. Okay, so thank you students for patient listening. We'll continue this another project in the next session. Thank you.